Hello, and welcome to another art history chat. Today I'm going to paint a master copy of The Death of Sappho by Miquel Carbonell Selva. While I paint, we'll delve into the lore of Sappho's life, the myths surrounding her, and the exquisite details of Selva's artistic portrayal. Grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into this fascinating story. Let's start by talking about the artist behind The Death of Sappho. Miquel Carbonell Selva, born in Catalonia in 1854, was a contemporary master known for his deep explorations of history and emotion through his oil paintings. Selva's style is both classical and soft, capturing the subtleties of human emotion and historical drama with a delicate touch. Unfortunately, there is not an abundance of information about his body of work online, which is a real shame considering his talent. However, based on what I could find, The Death of Sappho is one of his most iconic pieces. Interestingly, many different painters around the same time also depicted this poignant scene. Before we get to the legend of her death, we need to establish some basic groundwork for who Sappho was. Throughout history, she has been credited as the original lesbian icon. Her name inspired the term sapphic, which means women loving women. The word lesbian itself comes from the island of Lesbos, where Sappho was born. Born circa 630 BCE, Sappho was almost certainly from a wealthy family. At the time in Lesbos, society was incredibly patriarchal, and there were many old clans fighting for power. Because of these power struggles and her family's associations, she was exiled to Sicily around 600 BCE. The legend depicted in Selva's painting tells a story of unrequited love. It's said that Sappho fell hopelessly in love with a young ferryman named Phaon. Consumed by her unreciprocated feelings, she supposedly threw herself off the Leucadian cliffs. This dramatic gesture was inspired by a tale of Aphrodite curing herself of grief after losing Adonis by leaping from the same cliffs. However, it's essential to note that this story is just that, a legend. There's no concrete evidence to support this version of her death. More likely, Sappho lived out her life surrounded by friends and fellow poets, favoring romance with women. Yet this tragic and romanticized version of her death has become a compelling muse for many artists throughout history. We can't talk about Sappho without discussing her poetry. It's believed that she wrote somewhere around 10,000 lines of poetry, but tragically, only about 650 lines have survived. Many of her works were considered too homoerotic and sexual for the church, and were burned in the Middle Ages, nearly 2,000 years after her death. The fragments we have are either transcriptions that were distributed around the world, or torn pieces of remaining papyrus. There's only one complete poem by Sappho that has withstood the test of time, Ode to Aphrodite. Aphrodite, subtle of soul and deathless, daughter of God, weaver of wiles, I pray thee neither with care, dread, mistress, nor with anguish, slay thou my spirit. But in pity hasten, come now, if ever, from afar of old, when my voice implored thee. Thou hast deigned to listen, leaving the golden house of thy father, with thy chariot yoked, and with doves that drew thee, fair and fleet, around the dark earth from heaven, dipping vibrant wings down the azure distance, through the mid-ether. Very swift they came, and thou, gracious vision, leaned with face that smiled in immortal beauty, leaned to me and asked, what misfortune threatened, why I had called thee. What my frenzied heart craved in utter yearning, whom its wild desire would persuade to passion. With disdainful charms, madly worshipped, slight thee. Who wrongs thee, Sappho? She that fain would fly, she shall quickly follow. She that now rejects, yet with gifts shall woo thee. She that heeds thee not, soon shall love to madness, love thee, the loth one. Come to me now, thus, goddess, and release me from distress and pain, and all my distracted heart would seek. Do thou, once again fulfilling, still be my ally. This poem tells the story of the speaker, Sappho, praying to Aphrodite to cure her of the love sickness she feels for another woman who is not named. Aphrodite appears to Sappho and assures her that the woman will return her advances in time, which Sappho responds to by asking once more to be eased of the pain of love. There is much debate over the interpretations of this poem. Some argue that it's lighthearted and playful, while others believe it provides evidence of Sappho's romantic relationships with women. The truth, as with much of ancient history, is shrouded in mystery. However, the intrigue of her story has persevered, and her legacy as a lyrical poet remains undiminished. Her death, as depicted in Selva's painting, is legendary, and no one knows the details of how she actually lived out her final days. Sappho was a lyrical poet, a genre characterized by its personal and emotional nature. Her poems were meant to be performed with the accompaniment of a lyre, an instrument popular in her time. In Selva's painting, her lyre lies discarded at the cliffside, symbolizing that her love or her pain was so overwhelming that it overpowered her love for her art. This gesture of discarding her lyre could be interpreted as a powerful image of sacrifice and emotional turmoil. Sappho's work is captivating because she was able to convey pure emotional love and dive deep into her own emotions. Her poems resonate with readers even today, offering a glimpse into the intimate and personal world of ancient Greece. Miquel Carbonell Selva, in his depiction of Sappho's tragic end, captures this raw emotion and intensity. The painting speaks to the universal themes of love, loss, and artistic expression. Throughout history, Sappho's life and work have inspired countless artists, writers, and scholars. Her influence can be seen in various art forms, from literature to visual art. The image of Sappho, both as a poet and as a symbol of unrequited love, has been a recurring theme in Western art and culture. By recreating Selva's Death of Sappho, we pay homage to this enduring legacy and continue the tradition of exploring the depths of human emotion through art. As we near completion of this master copy, it's important to reflect on the significance of Sappho's story. Her life, though veiled in myth and legend, continues to captivate our imagination. Whether she truly leapt to her death or lived a quieter life among her peers, Sappho's legacy as a pioneering poet and symbol of love remains strong. Miquel Carbonell Selva's painting captures this timeless essence, reminding us of the power of art to convey profound emotions and stories across centuries. And that, my friends, is a deep dive into the life and legend of Sappho, as well as the artistry of Miquel Carbonell Selva. Thank you for joining me on this journey as we explored the intersections of history, mythology, and art. If you enjoy this chat, please give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more art history and painting. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.